For those of you heading out to Red Rocks to check out Widespread Panic this weekend, head over to venuelama.com. And I'm going to tell you why. Venuelama.com/RR info has all the info you need this weekend for your shuttles, restaurants, and breweries, and all kinds of fun shit for those of you heading out to see the Widespread motherfucking Panic at Red Rocks this weekend. And hey, if you're asking yourself, what's Venue Llama? Well, venuelama.com is where live music fans share helpful insider venue reviews and information based on their own experiences. This isn't some bullshit site that you go to and it's got a bunch of like paid advertisements and stuff. It's real info from people like us.
Yeah, from real fans. It'll give you the skinny on the security, how parking is, what there is to eat there, the water bottle policies. Because we all know there are a lot of things on check nowadays. And this is the way to get it from insiders just like you that go to these events and encounter all these things.
And another thing you might want to do is check out Venue Llama on YouTube, where you'll find a big array of content for live music fans. Grateful Dead nuggets, and they also have a Venue Llama podcast.
Oh shit. Okay, so here's the deal. You can review venues in the Llama base, upload photos in the Llama gallery, and add your favorite scene-friendly businesses, websites, or podcast to the friend page. All llamas registered by July 4th are eligible to win free tickets and Venue Llama gear. You can also follow them on Instagram at Venue Llama. And here's the thing, venuelama.com/RR info for those of you heading out to Widespread Panic this weekend. All right. So that's Venue Llama, folks. We have another awesome sponsor to tell you about. That is
Shop Tour Bus. That's right.
You're going to that show. You're going to see Dead and Company or Fish or Widespread Panic. Well, you want to wear some fresh duds, don't you? You want to go check out the online lot's greatest purveyor of Grateful Dead inspired merch on the entire planet in any universe, multiverse, parallel dimension. Anywhere, go to shoptourbus.com.
You want to know what's cooler than you wearing a Shop Tour Bus shirt? Is you spotting other Shop Tour Bus people at the concert that you're going to.
You run up to them and high five them.
That's right. Just point to your shirt and just high five.
So shoptourbus.com, you are going to get whatever you order from there, obviously, in this wonderful all-over print box. It's going to have a bunch of extra trinkets in there, and some of you are going to get Grateful Dead
Bootleg
Miracle.
That's
in
right.
your box, a real cassette tape that's been traded by Dirty Wooks all over the world, and it might even end up in your box. So you never know. And you're going to get free shipping when you put in the promo code No Simple Road.
No Simple Road.
One word. That's it. Free shipping. ShopTourBus.com. That's another of our sponsors. We got one more to tell them about.
Yeah, when you can wear your Shop Tour Bus shirt when you go to Fire on the Mountain.
Fire on the Mountain.
Fire on the Mountain is the place where you get the most dope chicken wings, burgers, pizza, other amazing salads, vegan options.
For over 15 years.
That's
They've
wild.
been Portland's premier wing joint.
They were the original, the OG wing joint here in Portland.
That's incredible.
There are 3 locations here in Portland. There's 2 locations in Denver. And this is the Grateful Dead family making your food for you. It's kind of like going to your grandma's house for Sunday dinner, but you could do it like basically anytime because it's our family cooking amazing food for you.
And get excited to our Bend people because there's going to be a new Fire on the Mountain in Bend this coming summer.
Yep. You got to go to their
Early
Instagram
fall.
page at FOTMPDX or FOTM Denver because they got all kinds of specials.
Yeah, they got all kinds of things to see there. And this just passed, but this is another thing they do. They really reach out to the community. They just recently had a fundraiser for Portland's Independent Resource Center, where 10% of all sales on 620 went to them. The proceeds would do what they want
rad.
to. So they really support the community. They support your hunger. They support
your belly.
They support live music. Their restaurants are fabulous to hang out in. They will make you feel comfy, and you will leave with a huge smile on your face.
Yeah, and to help that smile, they even brew their own beer. They even have Fire on the Mountain Brewing. So you got to go check it out. If you don't live here, don't be sad. You can go to portlandwings.com, order yourself some of their sauces, get yourself some of their swag, and you'll feel the whole like ethos of the whole deal. You'll like feel like you're at one of the restaurants. You'll be like, I heard about this on No Simple Road. Now I'm eating the sauce and I'm wearing the gear, and it's like a whole fucking thing that's happening, man. So go check it out, portlandwings.com, or go to one of the locations here in Portland or the ones in Denver, and
the one coming in Bend in September.
Yeah, do that. Fire on the Mountain. I think we're done with the commercials, man.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Far
It felt like a marathon
we
right
did
there.
it like all in one shot.
Why'd you choose to do it that way, babe?
I don't know. Why not?
I didn't say why or why
couldn't
not. I just
figure
said
out,
why.
I couldn't figure out last week. I was like, why do we stop?
Because we have to regroup, and sometimes we got to say stuff in between, or we're like, okay, this, maybe Fire on the Mountain has a certain thing they want us to talk about, so we talk about it beforehand, and it's just a thing. We stop.
I like this.
That was a good
It was-
flow.
we just
Yeah,
Where
it
we
was.
get in the flow and just do it.
One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Oh, that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com. One of our favorite sponsors is back. Ready. We did it. We just roll right through it, like Apple said.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing anymore. We just we got so good at it, we don't even stop.
Yeah, we keep it rolling.
They hating.
No, they're not. Hey, now, that's what we're family. What's up, everybody? We're back. It's Friday. It's another cool day here. It's another episode of No Simple Road, right?
Yeah.
Woo!
It's another, and it's I guess officially, it's our first episode of the summer because
Yes,
is
it is.
summertime now.
Meatball summer.
That's
Here we are.
right. Happy cancer season to all my favorite Cancerians.
Oh, I was like, why? There's a cancer season now? Like, gross.
The season
I get what you mean. Like
of
the
summer
sign.
birthdays.
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking something awful. Jesus. Anyway, hey now, No Simple Road family. The guests on this week's No Simple Road are our family.
SEGO.
Yeah.
SEGO.
It was quite the fun time we had talking with them about their
Happenings.
yeah. What is it that we talk to musicians about? Like their what?
Life on the road.
There it is. Okay.
their
their
lifestyle.
recording, their relationship, the things that they've learned on the road.
Their nutrition a
Their-
lot
Yeah.
of the
their-
time.
how about their doings, happenings, and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. the
That
doings,
qualifies.
happenings and whatnot. I like that.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to speak to Derv, Kathleen, Tom, and Spencer all at the same time in the same room, living out of the cube. And that is
Can we explain to the folks listening, like, what the cube is?
the cube is a warehouse space
Uh-huh.
that has multiple rooms and also like a big joined area where they all live together and they record there. They have a studio in there. And then they also have a space where they can actually play shows. And so they do play shows. And this is not the first band that has occupied the space.
Didn't Swim live in the
Yeah,
Cube?
I was just going to say if any of our old No Simple Roaders know that Swim all lived there together at once upon a time. And it is a wonderful space for, I think, bands to live together and be in close proximity to be able to kind of like brainstorm all the time and be around each other to up their game as a band.
I like how it's like passed from band to band. That space, it's like a nexus.
It really
a
is
hub,
a nexus,
if you will, of creativity.
Yes, it is a hub.
passed around for creative, and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Well, it's a super cool place to hang out too. It's like in downtown LA, and it's non-suspecting. You don't know what you're gonna get in.
No,
walking
it's like
in
in
there.
a weird industrial area,
Yeah.
and then there's this awesome. I remember the first time we went there.
You went there.
Well, we went there together.
Yeah.
We went to go meet the guys from Swim for the first time after Sid and Adam had gotten together, and we showed up, and it was really sweet. They were playing Grateful Dead music for us, and like there was like a little party going on. It was really kind of
And there
cool.
was other parents there too.
It was like
They like kind of catered it.
It was a unique time because I can't remember who else's parents were there, but they were there too. So it was kind of like, what time of year was that? I feel like it was like during the it seemed like graduation.
It wasn't
or something.
though. It was like
something was going on.
Yeah, there was obviously something going on that all the parents of all the band members were there. So we got to meet like everybody's parents and the bands, and it was really cool, man. And that space is really special. So Swim has swam there. SEGO sucked there. I think the Golden
Sons. I was going to say the Golden Sons. I remember meeting their dad.
And for everybody listening, I didn't just say that SEGO sucks. If you know about SEGO, it's their moniker.
You should know about SEGO sucks, so you should look into that because that is a definitely
and
fun.
that is their website, segosucks.com.
What do they
find
got?
out everything about them.
What do they got coming up, Apple? Anything?
Coming up, they got some tour dates announced. August 5th, they're doing Love You Down, which in Los Angeles. DIY Fest in Salt Lake City, Utah, which they are out of. Where's it? Provo, Utah, where they are out of. Gallivan Center, Salt Lake City, and then they're going to be jumping around. They're going to Chicago, Nashville, Athens, Georgia, North Carolina. So they're getting out and about at a lot of festivals. Didn't they play? What they play
like
last
the Bonnaroo or one of the big festivals like that. Coachella or Bonnaroo, one of the two.
Yeah, they're getting out there and getting a name from themselves. And I personally, like I've always said with them, I love this band because they scratch an itch for a lot of like, they're like a mix of punk and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's a trip to hear their sound and like experience SEGO. They are very unique and like such a trip, and it's a trip knowing them too, because the music is so trippy that like you would think that the people that are writing that music would be equally as whacked out, and it's really not the case, man. They're really fucking sweet people,
level-headed.
Yeah. So
I love how they treat it like a business and a really great friendship. That's what I love most about it. It is a business. They're artists and they're friends. Yeah. And I feel like all three of those are really highlighted in the end result.
So anytime we get to sit down and talk with members of the No Simple Road family like this, it's awesome. So we are going to get you to the interview here as quickly as possible. We're going to run through the business real quick and then I was going
to say one more thing about is that they have a bunch of new music stocked up, and you'll hear it in the interview. They're releasing them like singles. So far, 3 of those are available. Be Kind, Rewind just came out May 25th, which I say in here I was happy. It came out the day before my birthday. So they will have, you can even go on Bandcamp and like pre-download the song, have it set to pre-download the song.
That's right. I would recommend that.
It's really cool the way they're doing this. You just need to go check out their site and go check out their music and their merch. They always have dope merch that is really, really cool.
As with all bands that are on the show, man, if they come through your town, go see them and buy the ticket, take the ride, buy the merch, help them get to the next city, support them, man. These artists are putting everything they got on the line to give us entertainment and make us feel something, man. And to be able to buy a t-shirt from them or a sticker so that they got some gas or loaves of Wonder Bread or whatever the fuck to get to the next city. It's the least we can do. So let's do the business and get trucking on. What do you say?
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Follow No Simple Road on all social media platforms at No Simple Road. Follow us on the web at www.nosimpleroad.com. That's our website. It's the hub, the mothership, the big planet that is No Simple Road. It's got our calendar of events up there, which is empty right now because I've been super fucking lazy and haven't put anything up there. We got shit coming up though. We're going to be performing live at Ophelia's Electric Soapbox in Denver, Colorado on August 30th with Andy Frasco.
Woo!
Live podcast.
That just makes me happy when you say it.
The day before the Fish Dicks run, we are going to be at Oregon Country Fair. Speaking live from the front porch at Fair. I can't freaking believe it. So that's a couple little tidbits we got going on. We got a bunch of other local shows and stuff that I have to just take the time to put up there. You can get tarot readings from Mel and I too.
That's right. We have one scheduled this week.
Yep. So go to our website, nosimpleroad.com.
Two, actually.
All the info's there, merch, blah, blah, blah. You can call the Tepid line, 971-808-1524. And that is how you can just say whatever the fuck you want.
Are there operators standing by?
No, it's a Google
not.
Voice line.
Okay, so no pressure.
No, you don't have to think about what to say. You can just wing it.
3 minutes. It's up to you. Whatever it is,
and you know what?
Say it.
If you spend your first 3 minutes and you didn't finish, call back.
Yeah.
Spend another 3 minutes.
Yes.
That'll give you a total of 6 minutes.
Thanks, Mel.
And you go on to 9 if you want. We've had several people call back several times.
Yeah.
So that number again is 971-808-1524. And hey, if you're new to No Simple Road, or if you are a No Simple Road listener that listens every week, if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you are missing out on 1/3 of the No Simple Road universe. That's just as simple as I can put it. You can sign up for as little as $1 a month, and then you can engage with the other members of the No Simple Road family. You can get all the content that we're putting up behind the paywall, like side roads and interviews that you haven't heard and you never will if you don't sign up on Patreon. There's all kinds of other stuff going on there and you're missing out. And I feel sad for you if you're not there because
get on the bus.
Yeah.
Get all the way on the bus.
It's a cool bus, man. I promise. Patreon.com/No Simple Road. Don't miss out. It's sad when people miss out on things. It's called FOMO. It's just even a word for it. And I think that's it for the business. Oh, leave us a review. Leave us a review.
Apple Podcasts, that 5 stars, easy to do, but go beyond that and give us some of your kind words. We do not have one for June yet. Yeah.
Come on, Junie.
Yeah, come through for June for us. Somebody, be the 1 or the 2 or the 3
or the 20.
Yes.
Yeah. If this is your first time listening to No Simple Road and you dig it, do us a solid, man.
Yeah,
go on Apple Podcasts. Hook us up.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say the same thing. Go over and write a beautiful review. Press 5 stars. Make us smile. That's all there is to it.
And last, but certainly not least, tell somebody you know about the show, man. That'd be super dope of you. You could just like, hey, man, I listened to a really cool podcast with SEGO this week on No Simple Road. Here, I'm going to share it with you. And then you share it with them, and then they become a listener of No Simple Road. And then you guys sign up on Patreon, and the whole world grows. And there's like mycelium, and the mushrooms grow. And
they're forever thankful. Every time you see them, they're going to thank you again. Be like, thank you so much for turning me on to that because I love it. Now I've turned people on to it.
I want to thank
who?
SEGO.
All right.
For being on the show.
Love you guys.
Spending time with us, hanging out, being really sweethearts when we flubbed up names. Sorry, guys. Boy. You'll hear several times
names
of
and days.
Me and whatever. We were a little bit off this episode, but not off in our love for our family and in our excitement for SEGO. And we just love you guys. So thanks for being on the show and hope you all had as much fun as we did.
All right. So I'm going to give you a little bit of SEGO's music before we go into the interview. But without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
SEGO.
Ricochet Running my yap, I was babbing the business. Bellyache, blubber, and media mistress. Sirloin, numbskull, catching the gist with the handout, cash, no parents to toast us. No one calls when I'm chewing the paint chips. Eyes on me, cause my flow like King's Speech. High speed, slow boat, birth the ozone. Flowers, powers, ransom cowards. Every day of the week. Every day of the week. Got my neck in a reed. Feeling the squeeze, okay, sing it. Symmetry news, emergency broadcast, budget love seat, cover shade face, double fuzz, poetic breath, it's opiate fresh, desktop friendship, quality conquest, high top, flat feet, white nose, color bars, lost hands, fingerprints, daytime, no shine, they're listening in, inquisitioning in, repositioning in. High class, give me some scrub and a kiss.
Hello.
Check.
Hello. Let me hear you guys.
Hello.
Yay.
Hello.
You guys sound really good for being all in one little spot.
Yeah, I know. I feel outmatched with all these microphones.
Who's the band? Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh, God. Thanks for being on the show. Coming back. I love this so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Mel, why don't you introduce them?
Well, I was going to say, for everybody who out there who doesn't know you all, introduce yourselves and how long have you been in the band? And yeah, let's do that.
All right. Well, we're SEGO, and yeah, we've been playing music for a while now. I'm Spencer. I guess if we do a roll call, I'm Spencer.
Roll call.
I'm Thomas. Hi.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Thomas.
I'm Kathleen.
Hey, Kathleen, what's up?
Hi. I'm Derv.
All right, there we go.
Right on.
And then that's it. That's the end of the podcast.
And
That's it. Yeah,
right. We got to introduce ourselves, and
Well,
then
they
we'll hang out.
know
I'm
us.
Apple.
We know each other. All right.
I wanted to be included. Oh,
But no, guys. So tell us what's been going on, because it's been. I mean, the last time we had you on was for "Love You Down."
Love You Down.
Oh, right.
And Kathleen, you weren't part of it at Love You Down, right? So you're a new addition for Love You Down. What was that? 2019?
yeah.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, February 2019.
Yeah. So, Kathleen, how did you jump into SEGO? Let's get right into that.
Well, I am from Utah, and I played in a band that would like always open for SEGO whenever they came through Utah. So I just feel like it was when they were looking for a member, they just kind of reached out.
We stole her.
I was going to say, so they poached you, basically.
Sounds like a poaching happened.
I'm not really doing anything. Right on.
She was playing in like every band in Provo. And then when we poached her, every band in Provo now hates us.
We made a lot of enemies.
Okay.
Once.
Big question.
Well,
are
good
there a lot of
poach.
bands in Provo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Really? So like, you guys know us, so you know that we came from Vegas. My idea of Utah is not a place that is prolific for bands.
But that's not true.
So it's a misconception, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like we've been beating the Provo music scene drum for a while because obviously 3 of us came from that. Derv joined us from Santa Barbara, thankfully. But I feel like Utah gets kind of skirted, especially Utah Valley, which is like the Provo area. But I think because of the lack of national acts touring through Provo, it kind of has garnered its own self-sustaining scene with tons of really great bands. And kind of actually, you would be surprised. There's a lengthy list of quite successful bands that pop out of the Provo scene for the last 20 years. So it's kind of like a little hidden gem.
How would you describe the kind of music that's coming out of there? Is it like everything that's happening, or is it like kind of like a style that's coming from Provo?
I think it got pigeonholed for a while as like being like an indie folk kind of world, but then it had like this really kind of alien in like indie rock thing going on, kind of disco-y thing, and then it kind of, like any scene, I think it goes through cycles. Like Kathleen is more educated in it than maybe all of us because she played in all of those bands.
In all of them.
Kathleen, were you just trying to find the right one, or you were just like love to work all the time?
Well, I don't know. I'm just a fan of so many types of music. It's just like hard to pick one and just be like, I'm gonna do this. And it's nice to do folky stuff. It's nice to do more like rock and roll stuff.
Yeah.
It's just funner to bounce around a little bit, but
do a little everything.
Now you have found your home in SEGO. Yeah.
Now SEGO is the one.
Well, and you found a home with you all have been busy. I was looking too. You're going to be bouncing all over the country soon here. I mean, you're getting out there all around the United States. So they got you busy now, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We threw her right into the furnace right away. Like the second she joined the band, we did like a big national run. So it's been kind of busy.
Spence.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No. This isn't about me. This is about you.
Yeah, so that's right.
Continue.
We can wait.
It's all about you, Aaron.
Well, it's always about me, Tom, but we'll give you the spotlight.
Yeah, that's one opportunity I didn't get when I was just doing the Provo bands is a lot of them don't like tour very often. They just kind of stay in the scene. So I hadn't really been on like big tours before. So that was new for me.
Okay. So like what's the big things that you've learned from touring, being on the road than just kind of getting on stage week after week around the same venues?
Oh man. Well, you kind of, I don't know. It's
the gas station oatmeal trick.
Yeah, a lot of gas stations that are all the same, but a little different.
Okay, here's an easier way to ask that question. What's the hardest thing about touring and being on the road? What's the most difficult part?
I feel like the most difficult part is to relate to people who are not there with you doing the same thing.
Oh shit. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, people are just like going home or something.
Yeah, you're like in your own little world, and then when you try to talk to your friends about it, it's just like, no, just weren't there, and you don't know what's going on, and it's hard to relate after a while.
Okay. And what's your favorite part of it?
Oh man, just like feels a little like not real life. It's like a little bit like a dream, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of just go into place by place and get to experience that little microcosm for a minute, and then you move on, and it's kind of a whole lot of culture in a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I would imagine you're taking little pieces of that with you from each place everywhere you stop, and by the end of tour you have like this collage of experiences that you can put together and that make up the whole thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what it feels like.
I want to do that. Let's go.
We have done that in small scale.
I feel like it's a double-edged sword though, because sometimes you can go into a cool city and judge that entire population of whatever city you're in based on like one sound guy that treated you poorly.
Oh.
And then you move on and you're like, screw that town, we're never going back forever. And so a very small sample size can really dictate and influence your perception of an entire area. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one shitty person can ruin the whole thing. And you have such a short window of time in each spot. Like that place better have its best foot forward. Like you just said, all it takes is one sound guy and it's ruined for you. Is there, collectively as a band, is there anywhere that you guys like really, really look forward to going back to?
Collectively.
You love Wisconsin.
I love Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
I love Milwaukee, but it's for the opposite reason of like not of having one kind of or a couple days there where they were so great and people were so nice. And then it was like, this is my favorite town. I immediately was like, this is the greatest place I've ever been to, because it's so rare when people are that nice. And I feel like the radio thing we did, they were super sweet. We had that show like the back of that coffee shop.
Right.
We did that fun radio interview, and I had them eat Takis, got them Takis.
That's
or they got Takis or something. And it was like
the promoters got us into that Johnny Marr show.
They got us into the Johnny Marr show. We had a day out. Their grocery store is the most incredible thing ever.
So much cheese.
So much cheese. And there was like a charcuterie buffet table in the grocery store that I was like, what is this? And it was just really beautiful. Walking through the town was amazing. And like being by the water, there was like that waterway was really cool. It was like, Milwaukee's the greatest place in the world.
That's like the last place on the planet.
I've never.
It's not really on the radar.
Well, like we've talked to so many bands, and I don't think I've ever heard any one of them say one thing about Milwaukee. Not anything.
Nobody ever does. I always get made fun of. Like I feel like anyone who's touring, like anyone we know that's touring, and they're like, "Where's your friend?" I always bring up Milwaukee, and they just look at me like I'm an idiot. I'm like, "You don't understand. That was the greatest weekend of my life. It was so fun." But it's just because you're surrounded by so much other stuff that could be negative, or like we're talking about, there could be one person who kind of messes some stuff up, but then this like a shining moment kind of is a lot brighter than any other time. Like not in my everyday, I'm sure if in my everyday life, if I just was stopping through Milwaukee, I'd be like, what is this place? But in this moment, you're on tour, you're tired.
Yeah.
You're kind of beaten down all the time. And then this like one lovely kind of couple days happens. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the highlight. It has to be.
Yeah, man. I would imagine.
I'd go there just for the cheese. I'm glad you brought the cheese.
Apple's already booked our
That's
flights.
the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Wisconsin is like good dairy, cheese, and then movies you see based on like they're
Laverne
like
and
good kind of down home folk, like very nice. So that's cool.
Yeah,
I want to go to Wisconsin even more, Milwaukee. And
freaking do it. It's amazing.
Spencer, I have to ask. You said we've been playing music for a while. How long has SEGO been a thing?
Our first release was in 2014.
Okay.
So we're officially approaching the decade.
Wow.
And
which is kind of crazy because it still feels like the new girlfriend.
Yeah.
To me, because playing music for a long time. And so, this is now the institution, which is kind of weird.
What are some of the, like maybe top 2 or 3 things that you're proud of in this 10 years almost of having SEGO? Because, like there's so many things. Your first tour, your, changing, people in and out of the band, like recording. There's so many things that happens in a band. What are you guys proud of? Like, what are some of the things that you can kind of like look at it, look back and be like, dang, that was rad. That was awesome.
Jack Daniels commercial.
Got a couple landmark commercials. We acted in an internet commercial or a Xfinity commercial. That was fun. I feel like for me, like as far as like big takeaways, like just completing any albums is to me such like a feat and like I don't know, like a statement, but also an accomplishment that, just having put out any music period just seems like a worthwhile endeavor. So looking back, like of things I wish would have happened, at least that's like I fall back on is at least we got like a few records under our belt.
Yeah.
And have like made some sort of mark. Because it's easy to kind of wallow around and not get anything done. And so like just putting stuff out is kind of for me the biggest rewarding aspect.
Is it getting any easier as time goes on to do it?
Like
to have the band write music, do tours, the whole thing. Like, is it getting easier as time goes by? The more you understand the machine of it and how it works, the business and the musicianship part of it.
Yeah, I feel like, it's ever evolving as far as like the music world is.
Yeah, for sure.
Just as hard as it's always been.
Yeah.
But as far as us inside of it, I think we know enough to navigate all those rungs fairly easily. And we are in the process of releasing our 3rd album right now. And we all went into the studio together and kind of had the process together in a kind of a somewhat fresh way and approach. And so it's like, I feel like we have garnered a bunch of these skills through the years, but we're also like kind of still learning how to do it in new ways.
That's the best. That's the best because it helps you to stay fresh. If you feel like, well, I did it. I already know how to do this, that, and the other. Then you kind of get stuck in like your same thoughts and your same ideas. But when you have that mentality of you're still learning, then you have more opportunities to come up with something fresh,
Yeah.
And I love the two new singles, and
oh my gosh,
I'm just always selfish. I just want to know when I'm going to get more SEGO music to listen to. So the two singles that are out, are those from the new album coming out, or is that okay? And you guys I always thank you because I think especially Surrender, I'd mispronounce the other one.
Tang Dang, right? Is that?
Yeah,
whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
You scratch my itch for so many bands that have been a part of my life. Like I think I've told you guys before, but Sonic Youth is like one of my favorite bands ever. And you have that, like it's hard to describe, like the white noise, the clanky, but it sounds so beautiful and stuff. And those new songs both hit it good. And it's awesome to hear, with Caitlin and the band that now you have created music as well with them.
Kathleen.
Sorry.
Apples are I'm resident mispronunciation.
It is true. Yeah, this is very true.
Kathy.
Are you go by Kathy?
No.
Oh, I was going to say what?
You
What's
really
going
fucked
on?
that up, Apple.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, so I guess I was going to ask that anyway. So there is a whole album coming out soon. We're going to get a whole new SEGO album.
Yeah. So currently the current plan is every 6 weeks we're going to have a new single, kind of indefinitely, until someone forces us to put the whole thing out.
Okay.
So we have at least we have a path to follow. So the next one comes out the 25th of this month.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah. Day before my birthday. Well timed. Thank you.
You know, going back to the whole Provo thing, like you're playing music in Provo and you start to break out and tour around a little bit. And now it's going on 10 years later, and SEGO is a name. Like, people know you guys. You've played some big fucking stages. And looking back over that, I mean, it's got to kind of like, do you ever stop and ask yourself, like, wow, this is fucking surreal? Has it lost any of that to you over time? Like, when you're on those big stages now, like, holy shit, look at this.
No. So I've been with Spencer since I was 18. I started playing with him in 2007 in our old band. And then like 2 years later, we moved out to LA from Provo with that band and did that for a few years. And then from that, SEGO formed after that band dissolved and stuff. And because of the length of our relationship and how much we've done together, like, and the fact that we live together, like, I never forget where we came from. So whenever we do get to have opportunities like that, I just look over and see my buddy who I've been playing with forever.
So dope. And
it just was like the most, it always like blows me away. It never gets old. Just like, look at where we're at, dude. And like, remember where we were? Like, and like, it never gets old to me.
Playing in a garage in Provo, and then yeah, it's
we've definitely played some brutal shows through the years. So I think that's really driven in the perspective. So anything good that happens, it's easy to just kind of A/B it with, you know,
and even if something bad happens, it's still easier to just look at each other and be like, well, we've been here, and like, let's just make the most of this together. And we usually have a ball anyways, even if it is brutal. Just, you know.
Well, it's part of the fun too, is like going through shit together too. I mean, we were actually, that's why we were kind of late. We were talking about going through some shit that we've gone through.
And how it's funny in retrospect.
In retrospect, everybody's laughing about it, and in the moment, it wasn't that funny. But like those,
it's bonding experiences is really what it is, and like, because you all share music, that I would imagine, and maybe this is a question, like when you do go through that kind of stuff, the good and the bad, isn't it like makes you tighter, makes you more like fit together even deeper, because now you've got another thing to draw on, another memory or another cool place you went to, or some weird person that you sleep on their couch or something like that, and like just kind of builds that that relationship even stronger.
Yeah, I think there's nothing like, well, music has the twofold, where it's one, you're united by mutual love for and appreciation for like a craft and like a thing, but it's also extremely difficult, and there's nothing like a near-death experience or like a really heavy, difficult scenario to draw you together and kind of bond you forever, kind of on a family term. And so I think it kind of, you know, well, I mean, I feel good about us, but it also can like explode bands really fast. That pressure cooker can like do damage too. So I feel like it's kind of one or the other. But for me personally, I feel like this, similar to what you're saying, you know, you survived the thing, and now we can laugh about it, and it kind of brings you together even closer.
Lately on the internet, it seems like there's bands that are like kind of going from zero to stadium really quick, but I almost feel sorry for that experience, because you don't get to experience all the cool in between phases of that, you know, where you're like playing with your friends and then playing like mid-sized places, and then it's like a whole, I don't know.
Like gradually coming up, like it should be. Experience the whole journey instead of just jumping ahead, like boom.
What would one of the bands be that you're thinking of?
Name names, Kathleen.
Yeah, no, I want to know.
Oh man, I don't know. Just like,
because when you said it, I actually thought of one.
I know who you thought of.
What was that band you were saying that hadn't really played a show, but then they?
Scarlet Opera.
Oh yeah, they just like went straight to big stadiums.
I can't even imagine. I can't, like,
the pressure
of it. And also there's so much little shit that you learn along the way that helps you to get to the next thing, Like, the only context I have is this show and doing this. We've been doing it for 6 years, and like going from being on the porch by myself with a little snowball USB microphone to like podcasting live at the Peach Festival. Doing that with nothing in between, I would have shit my pants and the bed. You know, it would have been it would have been a nightmare.
No journey.
No, and not just that, but
it prepares you.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of doing the thing, and especially like Spencer said, music is hard. It's just because you have talent doesn't mean that you're going to make it. Like you have
it's one of the deflating and rewarding experiences.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, Tom.
Yeah. Deflating. Because I think having the kind of gradual come up, or like just like doing the journey, as you say, like, I don't know, it seems you appreciate so much more rather than just hopping steps, skipping steps or whatever. I don't know. I think maybe we would all probably love it if we could just jump straight onto headlining.
Don't get me wrong.
You're not going to be upset.
No.
I'll take that call.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Now you would. Now you take that call.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I thought of 2 minutes ago, like talking about crappy situations that you learn from them, but especially as a band, I've heard talked to somebody in the past that said some of the best lyrics and songs have come out of being at the bottom of the barrel, having shitty times. Those things make for great stories, and you can look back in retrospect. I mean, like almost all love songs come from heartache and crap happening in your lives, and you turn it into a beautiful song and give it to the people. There's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have no meatloaf.
No.
That's for damn sure.
That's a sad world.
I do not want to live in a world with that.
With no meatloaf.
Yeah, man. And with SEGO, it's a very particular thing. You guys have your very recognizable brand, and I know that you work really hard to keep it that way, Spence. Like, I know that you're the brains behind a lot of the stuff that goes on. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, though, is the lyrics to your songs. Where is that coming from? Is that one of you, or all of you, or some of you?
All right. A lot.
Lyrically?
Yeah.
Most Spence.
Yeah, I think lyrically mostly me. I feel like we've had a few that have kind of been more collaborative, but it kind of ends up coming out of more of like a stream of conscious / whatever is currently happening in my life, or what book I'm currently reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like heavily influences whatever kind of spews out when we're in writing mode.
Isn't it weird that like your stream of consciousness writing of hodgepodge experience and what's going on can like coalesce into music and then go out and mean something to somebody else that's like deep and makes them feel? That's a weird thing. What do you think that is?
I think, well, first of all, what my top 2 fears in life, one is like being at like open mic stand-up comedy, and the other one is being challenged to a rap hip-hop battle. And because freestyling seems like the most intimidating possible scenario I can think of, but what I have found is the stream of consciousness is very related to that, but just in the confines of my own home. And what you find, a lot of hip hop guys talk about it, the freestyle comes out and it seems non sequitur, but when you take it in its whole, your brain actually connects a lot more dots than you're aware of. Mm-hmm. And so you get a full paragraph, and you didn't intend all that stuff to make as much sense as it does, but it does, because you're drawing from experience and your brain is a lot smarter than you think. And so yeah, a message does kind of weave through all of that seemingly random material. And so when it connects with like a listener, at least in my experience with other similar type of writing, yeah, you hear it and you accept it as like the way it's meant to be. It's like, oh, this is perfectly written for me. I understand what's happening, even though it feels random. But yeah, I think the dots connect a lot more than we give ourselves credit for.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you see faces or shapes in the popcorn ceiling, you know, that kind of your brain is putting together order out of chaos. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about music is that it can be, you know, stream of consciousness, seemingly random. And then for me, it becomes the most important anthem of my life, you know. That's magic as far as I'm concerned. That's what it's all about right there. So when you're sitting down to write a new song, is there like something that you do to start it off, or is it just like, I'm just going to sit down and write now and just go for it? Or is there like, do you have a way that you go about it?
I wish there was something a little bit more consistent, because I really do like method and like consistency, but I feel like it's a lot of times it's just like just freaking making it up every time and praying that it freaking works again. But it's something that I fall back onto fairly regularly is I'll take out a page and I'll just write, you know, 3 or 4 pages of just lines without editing. And then I'll go through and underline things that I thought were interesting. And then I'll take those and I'll write like 5 or 6 iterations of like alternate ways of saying that particular line. And so I'll just have like a ton of material just to comb through, just see if I can find a spark to an idea, and then get like a core and start building off of that. That's as much of a formula as I've been able to kind of come up with just to get things moving. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it comes out in one long, perfectly unedited string, and sometimes it's just like so much material we like whittled down to just like a few lines. It's almost embarrassing, the amount of crappy material that's on my.
I'm intrigued by that because I love that whole. That's very methodical if you think about it, like the writing process and then the highlighting, and then to even go further to kind of expand on that highlighted. I've never expanded on a sentence like that, like to make it anything. But I'm also not a musician in that way. But like to be able to have that much at your fingertips, not embarrassing, like amazing that you even have that to think of after doing X amount of albums, you know what I mean? And X amount of songs. That's pretty dope, Spence.
Yeah, it's good to have. But yeah, I feel like every musician has like the secret stash of voice memos and bad lyrics that they'll never show anyone, you know, and I have the lion's share of all of that. This is a very well curated output that is erasing all of the other stuff, because anyone that just puts, well, I don't know, there are freaks out there that just the first thing they do is great. But I feel like there's a lot of combing through things in our repertoire.
And then there's bands like we talk about that frequently, like King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. They put out
again mispronounced.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
I'm sorry, I'm tired. But I mean, the amount of music they put out is, I mean, they've done like 3-4 albums in a year sometimes, and they're touring, and it's usually dope.
Yeah.
Like there are those one. That's like how they. I mean, I imagine look at bands. It's like how do they fucking do it, man? Like
I admire that stuff. Like Ty Segall's the same way. He'll put out a new record at least once a year, maybe twice, and also only performs that record once when he's doing that album cycle. So you have to go see it when it's fresh.
Whoa.
And what I like about it is it's not always amazing, but when it is, it's golden, you know, and you have to like go in there. But I think the fact that he sticks to that output consistency is just, admirable just in general. Like,
is there any like pressure on, I mean, maybe the whole band, but any one of you to like consistently put stuff out? Or do you feel like your guys are in a good spot?
We like to just put stuff out. I think it's an important part of the process because you can get so hung up on one thing.
Yeah.
And after a while that can like turn around and bite you in the ass a little bit, I think. So like if you sometimes just like getting something and putting it out and like, all right, it's out, so we can move on to the next thing and just like keep moving. Like movement, I think, is important.
Yeah. I feel like the pressure is probably coming from us more than anything because we have about 20 mixed and unreleased songs that we really want to put out, but we have to find the right way to put it out. And that just gets kind of aggravating because you just feel like it's just, collecting dust. And so internally it just feels like, man, let's put out everything, but
what's the right way to put it out?
That was what I was going to ask.
Yeah. And especially like nowadays, right? Like nowadays, you said the music industry is just as hard as it was, just different challenges, but like we were talking, I can't recall another musician, and just sometimes you put out music and it just goes like in a bottomless well. Like, who will hear this? Like a podcast episode, you think it's this great thing, and then like 20 people hear it. And so how, like, do you kind of like detach yourself from like, fuck it, I don't care who hears it, it's out, like you said, Thomas? Or is like there's some, like, I know that every musician wants to be heard, but like, how do you resolve those two? Yeah.
What do you think, Derv?
Well, I think the thing that for these songs, that the stuff that we're releasing now this year, we kind of thought about that a little bit. We're like, well, things are changing. The way that people consume music is different now. And so, albums are fantastic and albums are great and we all appreciate albums, but how relevant are albums now? We don't know. And so it's like, well, maybe this is the best course of action. Let's just, so that we keep ourselves on track. And we kind of, I think the idea of the 6-week thing for us for this year was to kind of eliminate that concern of like, oh, well, is this just going to fall apart? Is this just going to go into this whole, it's like, who cares? It's 6 weeks. So here's our thing. Mm-hmm. Then it keeps us going. And then it creates a momentum for us. I think our goal with doing this kind of release is that each one will kind of build on its own thing. And then it'll just bring us back and bring us kind of to this other level. And hopefully at the end, there's a big hype around everything. And then everyone's got these songs, and then, who knows if it's going to be an album or it will, or I don't know, but we're just kind of doing this just as like, I don't know, singles are great now and people do singles a lot. And so let's kind of do something that's somewhat similar to what's kind of going on now, but also doing it in our own way, trying to make each release unique, trying to make it feel like its own little SEGO world. We're trying to do little things around it. And so, I don't know, that's just kind of.
No, that totally makes sense.
Cool. I like that as like a consumer. I just got excited when you told me a new one's coming out on the 25th. Like in this day and age of like streaming and everything, it's kind of, to me, like, I love miniseries. Everybody it's like miniseries now and stuff. So we have something to look forward to. And so do you as a band all year long. It's like, okay, I'm getting something in another, 5 weeks, 4 weeks. It builds excitement. And I think it's a really smart way to do it.
Well, and also I think that I would imagine if you're, like you said, you have 20 songs that are sitting, and if you're not doing something with them, they can lose their luster. I would imagine songs in the moment are one way, but when it's sat for 6 months, it becomes something else. So if you're consistently putting the breadcrumbs out there, it's like you said, it's giving you momentum to keep going forward and keeps everything
and the band
fresh. Yeah. What's up, everybody? If you're like me and you're trying to do better for yourself and what you eat in this new year, I have something really cool for you. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day way easier. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You're going to have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. What are you waiting for? Sign up and save. They've done all the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So here's what you got to do. Head to factormeals.com/NoSimpleRoad50 and use the code NoSimpleRoad50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. That's code NoSimpleRoad50 at factormeals.com. Take all the guesswork out of trying to do the right thing for your body. Fuel up easy and fast. Go check out Factor.
Yeah, it gets us excited to do we kind of had an idea of making each one its own thing or doing something for its own thing and having kind of these like pillars in between of the songs that we kind of collectively or have gotten feedback that were maybe a little more interested to people, ones that were a little more popular. And so it's like, okay, we can have these we kind of create little things around that and around what we've learned of what's been going on with the current releases. And then you kind of just pivot along the way too, which is kind of cool. And then it's just a nice map of, okay, this is our deadline each time. So whatever that means is whatever that means. And then hopefully people enjoy it and people get excited for the next one.
How does that affect touring? Like, cause back in the day it was like an artist or a band toured for their album, And so when you constantly have stuff coming out, what is,
how do you decide when to go on tour?
How do you decide to go on tour? And like, I don't know. I don't want to say what's the reason. Everybody knows what the reason for tour is, so people can hear you and hear your music and all that. But like, what's the? I guess how does that work? Yeah,
what's the driver? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you. I guess we're just gonna have to tour all the time. Then.
Yeah. Every 6 weeks on tour.
It's like we're just gonna be busy. Bands nowadays too kind of. There's so many singles and there's so many bands that just get big off of a single and then boom, they're on tour for 2 years. And so I think there's something to that of like, I don't know, getting these songs out. It's in a way of like kind of mini, it's not mini albums, but it's just these singles. Maybe one of them will like freaking blast and then that will lead to something on that or whatever. Or we can just base tours around that. It's like, we got this single coming out. So instead of it being just like a show, it's like, let's do a little run and then kind of promote this new single and then kind of allows for like a bunch of tours. Like I said, it's like, I guess we'll tour all the time. So it's like,
Going back to music being difficult to do, like you never know if one is going to hit. Like you guys have no idea. You could think it's great, put it out there like a podcast episode, think it's great. 20 people listen to it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to like put yourself out there all the time and not always get the feedback that you want. It's like Thomas said, it's the most like debilitating and deflating thing in the world and greatest thing in the world. But Spence, I want to ask you, man, was there one thing that made you decide you wanted to do this? Like this was it? Or was it a culmination of different things?
This as in
music,
SEGO or
music,
as music
period, just to be a musician?
I feel like it's been it was just as corny as it sounds, it's part of me since I was a child and I maybe just a little bit stubborn in my thinking or like self-identity or whatever. But like ever since I was a little kid, I've always been very attracted to it and fulfilled by music, playing and creating. And so in one form or another, it's just kind of followed me around, or I've followed it more so. And yeah, because I studied to do orchestral bass throughout high school and college, and then ended up in a rock band in LA. And so it's like in one form or another, I feel like it's just always kind of been in my crosshairs.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's hard to pick one moment though. I mean, I have Tom and I have carried around this joke forever, but like the call joke, like of like when you get the big call to do the thing. And our call before was when I call Tom, tell him to quit his job at the deli.
Good
but
call.
as far as like, as far as calls to get just like stick it out with music, it's just a bunch of like little mini experiences and successes that kind of ensnare you into this lifestyle.
Yeah, I get it.
Because okay, I feel like, especially with music and any type of celebrity, there's always like this like pinnacle of success that either the artist or everyone else expects them to reach, you know, like they starred in their movie but that's one event in an entire life, you know?
Yeah.
It's so, okay, yeah, you got that call. They want you on tour. Next year, it's another new band that's got the call and that's on tour. So how do you keep your head straight? Like, what are some like healthy things that you do to keep your head straight? Be like, this is my life. I'm not trying to do this just to get that one call. Or is it still like that?
One thing that's helped me in my circus of a brain is being grateful to just be able to continue to do it, be able and have the opportunity just to keep doing it, like, and continue to do it. It's kind of the coolest call because like at any moment, like anything can go off the rails and like this could stop, like me and Spencer can fall out of love and just stop playing together, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just being able to do it is kind of the biggest thing for me. Like,
yeah,
it's hard enough, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, what about you, Derv? How do you feel about it? Like, you know, that continual, am I going to get this pinnacle? Am I going to be recognized? Or no, this is just a rad thing that I love to do and it's fucking my life.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have those fantasies a lot. I think, I don't know about everybody else, but I know I tend to get a little caught in my head, especially with like social media.
Yes.
Of like looking at all this stuff all the time, these big things, and seeing people get their big calls. And I'm like, dang it. Like, I love it. And I'm so stoked, you know, you're so happy for these people genuinely, but then you're gonna feel like but I want to do that too. But that's only, if anything, that's like what motivates you to do stuff and to be like, okay, how am I going to get that?
Fully.
So then that helps. I'll be like, well, I felt this way because I saw this, that's shitty, that I feel like, you know, envious in a way or jealous, but let's just turn that into like, well, how am I going to get the bigger one? You know, not trying to one up anyone in any way, but it's just like,
it's fuel.
It's fuel. And so I've been trying to do that. It's hard.
Of course.
You know, and so I think that's something that I think about. But in terms of just like the question of just doing it and continuing to do in life, like I'm kind of the same way as Spencer. Like, I've done this as a kid and I've always done this my whole life. It's all I've known for work and for pleasure and for fun. And I've been playing in bands since I was 13. Wow, and so it's like, that's just been what I just do. And then that's what I did working like all through high school and stuff. I just only played in bands and only played live. And like, that's all I was told around me from my parents. No one ever questioned it. No one ever thought like, let's see if she should get another job, or let's try to get you over here. There was zero question about this thing. So I was like, oh, well then I'm just going to keep doing this thing then. Wow. So it's like, if I have no other like doubts around me, that's what was really helpful too. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm on the thing. I'm on the path. So I guess I'll just stay here. Yeah. And then I've stayed here and it has been great.
Hell yeah.
Right. And I will stay there.
I'm glad you stayed.
Yeah, man. That's
I don't really know anything else at this point. So it's like, this is kind of what I got.
When I think plan B fucks people up.
Yeah.
You know, like,
exactly.
when you don't allow yourself another option, you fight tooth and nail to get the thing that you want. You know, like, I'm not settling for that bullshit twin size mattress. I'm going to get a freaking king. I'm going to save up. And I don't know why that just came up, but you know what I mean, right? No, well, I'm just so interested in it. I'm interested in artists, period. Musicians, absolutely. Just the stick-to-itiveness, you know, like, and it's not, again, sometimes you play a freaking fantastic show and everybody shows up, and then you play a okay show and it's fine, and so, but you always, you know, you're left with your feelings, you know, you're left with yourself and the kind of like, did I do the right thing? And I know that, I mean, we all have that kind of a head where we question everything, you know? And so I can, you know, doing it for years and years, I just wonder that, you know, like, as far as like that movement forward and like,
you know what though? Like, there's a way to look, like what Thomas was saying about like having gratitude of even being able to do the thing in the first place.
Yeah.
And I know, Derv, I know exactly what you're talking about, where like you see other people doing something, you're like, fuck. And it's not like, and you're not like hating, you know, it's not at all. It's like, I want to do that too, man. Like, when's my turn?
Yeah.
But the way that I've like come to terms with all of that is framing it in my head. Like, if myself 5 years ago could see myself now, my perception then would be like, oh, he made it. Mm-hmm. They did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no doubt. But me sitting here now, I'm like, oh, there's so far to go. You know what I mean? And I also realized too, there is no made it. That doesn't exist. When ever are we going to be like, whew,
Madonna made it.
Done.
Did it.
Yeah, like the thing that was my last podcast. I fucking did it. That's my last show.
And we've said that before. The making it, and like you said earlier, the making it is to still be doing it. Yeah. It's like we're still doing this 5 years later, and it's still gaining momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
being able to make it is making it.
Yeah.
You made it.
Yeah.
If you get to make it.
Yeah.
Yes. And then if you can like actually feed yourself and clothe yourself and put gas in your car and hang out with the people that you love the most,
and have people that still want to listen to you
and get paid to have fun,
flattering.
like all that shit. Think about that. Like that to me, from where I'm sitting, sounds like somebody who made it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Derv, what was that? Did you have a story of like Martin playing like a huge show and feeling bummed out about it in Depeche Mode? Is that you was telling me about that? Said it's like his saddest show, looking at this giant like stadium audience and saying like, this is as big as it will ever get, and that's only downhill from here.
Oh my god!
Mom maybe tell you? I don't remember saying that.
Swim Martin?
I don't.
No, Martin from Depeche Mode.
Oh, okay.
Swim Martin, yes.
I was like, what? He played with Depeche Mode?
You didn't know that, bro?
Might have been your mom.
Yeah, she's.
But it's just that idea that like, you know, the made it moment can be maybe even like the saddest moment, because it's like the beginning of the downhill, you know, you can't sustain that. So it's just the journey has to be fulfilling. Otherwise, you know, there's no arrival.
Well, also the culture that we live in is like so upside down and backwards and twisted inside of itself. The hustle culture and like climbing, and there's, you know, social mores about like levels and status and where you are, and like it completely strips the idea of I'm doing something that I love and I'm supporting myself and I'm with the people that I love.
Yeah.
Right? Like that should be the base where we're starting from, of how we're measuring success. And then the other shit can come too, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people listening to your music and big stages and all that stuff. Like, okay, cool. That's cool. But the other stuff is what really mattered in the first place. And that's why I'm bothering to sleep on couches and tour around the country and fart in a van for, you know, 6 months.
No farting in the van.
Is that a rule?
It's a hard
Mel,
fast
you're
rule.
fired.
I'm fired. They just got to deal with it.
As much as you can help it.
As much as you can help it.
Sometimes
That's fair.
happens,
That's
so.
fair, Thomas.
I was going to say, with the continuing like doing things too, it just made me think of, like, we still get so excited. I remember when we first had the website up and going, and Aaron actually we like created our first merch, and to this day, 6 days later, every time we get a new batch of stickers.
6 days. That was a long time ago,
dude.
Guys, we're gonna have to like
I'm gonna have to have you just say certain words, and I'll cut them in. It's okay.
Yeah, 6 days. 6 days of doing it. 6 years of doing it. I get so excited when we have new batch of stickers that comes to hand out to people, that people actually want them. That is continuously exciting, that people want to receive what you're doing.
Yeah,
is one of the most amazing things.
Totally.
Well, because it just means you're connecting with people. You know, like that they're listening, and there's kind of a communication and like an exchange there that it never isn't rewarding. Every time someone like I don't know, it never gets old when people sing along to your song.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shoot,
imagine.
you guys care enough to even remember the lyrics. This is crazy. Like, it always feels amazing to
The
me.
singing is the best. Like the moment when we played it in Provo like a couple weeks ago for the 360 show, there was when we were doing 20 Years Tall and the Bed is the Bet part came on. I thought I was going to start crying. Like, and I wasn't even on that song. I didn't even write that song. It's like, that was way before I was in the band, but still there was this moment of like, oh my gosh, I don't have to sing this part. None of us have to sing it. We don't have to be on the mic because everyone else is doing it. I was like, holy shit, this is it.
Wow.
Like, it felt so crazy. It's like, oh my God. And who knew everyone yelling "a bet is a bet" would be like the freaking coolest moment. It's like, wow, this feels so good. Or when they know the little things, like a little like
The Where's
subtle,
Thomas
the
thing.
Where's Thomas thing, or like a little subtle touch, and they yell it out. It's like, yeah, got it. It feels so crazy.
I think that's one really cool thing about technology now and the internet is it's giving wider voice to a lot of people, and it's giving a lot of more people the ability to have moments like that where folks that wouldn't have been able to hear you have the opportunity to hear you and learn the lyrics to your songs. You show up, and then it's like, boom, this thing happens. And that's one of the beautiful things about the way things are now, that I don't know. I look at that like, you have the best PR agent in the world with the internet, if you're doing it right. And it's hard, man. It's to do anything is hard, like, period. Especially with it's so oversaturated, and there's so many bands out there. There's so many podcasts out there. There's just, it's
artists
to get at any notoriety at all is astounding. And like I alluded to it earlier, Spencer, but you're the brains behind like the look and the feel of SEGO, right? And what'd you say?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of an all hands on deck thing, but like initially it was kind of I feel like any idea was just, as long as like it went through the Spencer grinder, it was kind of the original template, but it's becoming much more of like a full four-headed monster, I feel like, these days.
Well, it kind of started. So after me and Spencer's band broke up, like, we spent like a couple years playing, like, we played in Swim for a couple years, both of us,
right,
and a couple other bands. And Spencer had just been writing a bunch on his own, and he had like just a bunch of great songs, and he just didn't know what to do with them. He's like, I don't know what this is. And like, I remember talking to him a few times, like, I don't know, it's pretty good. Like, maybe you should just do it. Like, just start a band, and I'll tell you what, I'll be your drummer.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yes.
But so like initially, yeah, it was like he had just all this stuff that he'd just been writing on his own, and he just didn't really know what to do with. And like, I don't know.
Was that so, Spencer? Was that hard for you to transition out of that kind of mindset where it was like mostly you and it has to kind of go through you to now it's more equal, or more spread across 4 heads instead of one?
I mean, I feel like it's so much easier when they're more like hand deck, you know, it's a little bit daunting to do things on your own. And so, yeah, having like being in a band's awesome. Like being alone sucks.
I'm going to put that on the quote for the being in a band is awesome. Spencer from SEGO.
Yeah, put that on a bumper sticker.
Yes.
I do love that though. It's simple but true.
It is true. And I don't know, like I know that now is like the day and age of like the producer, the solo artist or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you can like hold a band together, it is so much more fun to kind of experience all this with like a crew.
Dude.
Okay, this is the lamest little example that I have, but well, because I'm not in a band and being in a band would be dope. You're right, Spencer. But I recently took up banjo and I've been taking these classes with my teacher. And I'm still not good enough to be comfortable for anybody to hear me really. But a couple lessons ago, we were doing this. I was doing this song and he was like, okay, I'm going to play my guitar. You're going to play the banjo and we're going to play together this time. And so he's kind of explaining to me like how we're going to do that. And so I start playing and he comes in. And then we started playing together and I felt what it felt like to play with somebody. And I still am thinking that still is making me happy like 3 weeks later. Like I still think about it. It's like a secret happy thought that I put in my head. Cause I've never had that before. I've never musically sunk up with somebody like that. And there is something really
kind of jealous,
intimate and beautiful about that. It's the dopest thing. You do it all the time. You do it every week. But like you all are very fortunate, especially to find like personalities that mesh and then the musical personalities that mesh. That is so dope, you guys. And like what you're putting out currently is just as good, if not, you know, right on par with what you guys started putting out when you first came out.
And there's another part to all of this too. It's like, and we've talked about this on the show before, but like you don't get to choose your family. Your family is, you're born into your blood family. And sometimes, like in my case, some of your family really sucks. And like,
most of our cases.
Yeah. And you're stuck with it. And that's that. But when you have people around you that you've chosen as your family, it's sometimes those relationships are even stronger than blood family because you have, you know, you've chosen each other and you've been through shit together and you've stuck by each other's sides.
You value that relationship.
Yeah, man, and I can only imagine that the gauntlet of continually putting your art out there for other people as a collective mind over and over again and being vulnerable together and struggling together and all of it, and then getting the feedback back, it just builds something that is really beautiful. And like you said, finding bandmates that you can actually do the thing with, man, that's a gift.
That's gold.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, I feel like it's been a journey just to like get to where we are right now, to the
fantastic
Fab Four.
Yeah.
These two saved it all pretty much.
How so?
Yes. Yeah, let's hear how you guys saved it.
It's just
tell us how we
they want to hear.
By save, he means they've eclipsed me and Tom, and they've become the stars of the band.
They're the stars of the show. I mean, it's just hard enough. We've had several members and friends and people who we still love and hold dearly, and it's really hard a lot of times to work with people you love and hard to work with your friends and stuff, you know, and taking that and then also like gelling musically as well, like, you know, like speaking the language of a friend and then speaking the language of a bandmate are two different languages, and like to be able to have both is really hard and rare to find, I think, or at least it's been difficult for us. And like these two came in and it was just like
very natural,
so natural and just so easy to just speak that language, like to have conversations with each other in both languages, you know, like.
Oh, wow.
What did you call it?
I don't know.
Musical shorthand or
something like that. Yeah.
So, Caitlin, you were the last.
Kathleen.
I'm sorry.
Caitlin, who joined 6 days ago.
Yes. Thanks, Apple.
Okay.
Oh,
sorry.
Start over.
Kathleen.
It's okay. You made me feel better.
Kathleen. You were the last one to join. What do you? So they have this 3 magic between them. How did you like enter that? How did you like get into that? Like how do you feel like what was your voice in all of that?
I guess it's a little tough to come into just like a group of people that are already so tight within each other. It's like hard to be the outside person. But I don't know. Everyone's just. Sometimes I'm like kind of a more reserved, like shy person, but I don't know. Everybody's just. I never felt like. They never made me feel like an outsider. It always felt like very.
You didn't feel like the new kid at school.
Right.
Yeah.
They've always been super. I don't know. It's just never uncomfortable, you know. Like
I know that Tom's really hard to get along with, so it's hard. So I feel for you.
Oh, it's crazy.
Maybe it helped that we had just been around each other so long because we like played shows together and stuff for a while beforehand. But I think it all has to do with like speaking the same music language and everything. It's like kind of makes it easier to communicate, and just feels like we're all fell from the same kind of tree, you know.
Yeah, it the music feels like that too. It's really cool, man.
You should hear some of Kathleen's solo stuff, though.
Oh yeah,
it's way different.
It's really different.
Okay. What is it under your? Do you have like a solo name, or is it under your name, or like what do you?
Not really. I kind of do it in private.
It's really good.
Kathleen Fruin.
Okay. Oh wait. So
bust your gear out. Let's go.
Come on. Right.
Or if you ever want to share with us, we're always wanting to listen. And we got to see when you guys came and played here at Doug Fir, that was very close to when you first joined the band, if I'm remembering right. You were brand new. And in fact, I think Thomas has said, he's like, this is somebody kind of filling a spot. We're hoping to keep her and it's going to work out. We saw you perform that night. And I always worry. I think everybody does. When you like a band and you're used to it, when change happens and somebody else steps in, you can't help but worry a little bit, like, oh no, this is going to change. And I remember that performance at Doug Fir. We were like, oh shit, she fits. Like nothing was missing, and it was like, fuck, it works, it fit, and you added a little to it as well. So I mean, well done, all of you.
And that's what I meant by I'm hoping that we can keep her. Is like I hope that she wanted to stay. Like. You know,
and felt welcome, and like it worked. You know, here we are a few years later, and she feels welcome.
6 days later.
6 days later.
Here we are
with Caitlin.
Never let it go.
I'm sorry, you guys.
No, don't let it go. Please don't ever let it go.
No.
Is there any plans to come back up this way?
Yeah, we're coming up for a festival in a few months.
Oh yeah,
what's that one called?
Cascade?
Forgot what.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah,
and
let the folks know what's up.
I'll let you know within just 1 second. But yeah, we're
Northwest Festival.
The what?
We have a festival
it's not
somewhere up there.
It's Northwest, but we're gonna try to make a tour out of it. Is the hope?
Well, you guys were just here, right? You guys were just down here where we are.
Yeah, we went with Adam and Sid to see Fish.
I want to know what. Yeah. Okay, how is you all took over the Cube, right?
Oh yeah, it's just us.
We live.
Well, yeah, Spencer and I have been here since 2009. But now it's just SEGO. SEGO
really?
Just at the Cube. So me and the girls live in like the front unit, and then Spencer and his wife live in the back.
How's that been for the band? I bet amazing.
It's pretty great. I feel like we're pretty lucky that we work well together. We live well together.
Holy shit.
Hang well together. It's like everything is pretty solid. It's kind of scary sometimes. It's like, dang, this feels so lucky. It's like how do we like each other this much? Like,
that's rad, cool. You guys. That is so rad because we have the same setup too. Like we literally live and work together, and then we like hang out on the off time together, and we are lucky. All you guys are lucky, and we're lucky because it's not typical. It really isn't. And when you find that, it does feel kind of like Twilight Zone-y, but I think that you all were blessed with it. That's the end of the story. Yeah.
That definitely helped too with like Kathleen joining in the band as well, because it was kind of at the same time that she moved here, right?
Oh,
and so it's like, we all are gonna live together now with her who's new and in it, and it's like, so that kind of throws you into the gauntlet immediately, and it's like, all right, we all live together now. We're gonna go on this tour and live in a van together now. So it goes from living in a cube together to living in even a smaller thing together.
Smaller cube on wheels.
Smaller cube with just the four of us, and then here it's just the four of us. So it's like, all right, and that could have been horrible.
Yeah.
It turned out to be fantastic, and now here we still are.
Kathleen, you didn't know that you were joining a cult, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But, Kathleen, did it just happen to coincide with you moving, or you were moving there on purpose to be with the band and be?
Yeah,
okay.
I had been in the band for like, I don't know, almost about a year before.
Yeah.
And then it kind of was just like, well, maybe I should move out there so I can be, just make sense.
Any culture shock moving from Provo to LA?
Yeah.
she went to work on like Skid Row, like immediately, and takes the bus. So she got like the spectrum.
Oh man.
Dang.
Dived in.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of a cool. I've never lived anywhere else, so it's been a cool experience overall. It helped so much that there's just like a built-in community here because they've been here for so long. So
man, the cube is magical.
Yeah. There's just it comes with all of these cool people and
including yourselves, because that's like if we hadn't moved to the cube, we wouldn't have met Swim, and Swim wouldn't have moved here when they did and lived here, and then in turn Adam wouldn't have met his lovely wife who happens to be your daughter. Blah 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 blah.
Wow. It really is.
It is
weird,
like
man.
This, our extended musical family is one of the things I'm most proud of. Like in my life, like truly, like
for real.
I will give myself a pat on the back for raising incredible kids, but like beyond that, after they're raised, what else then, right? Like what Sydney and Adam and you guys, all the relationships and how it's like given us such a peace of mind to know the quality of the people that she's with are you guys, and like always striving to do better and bigger and like creative. It's like seeing Sydney out there and knowing her friends. It like I could die a happy woman like right now, just knowing that she's like in good hands and that she's like constantly pushing herself forward and she's around people like that. Cause when I think about, it's hard to just think about like you guys. I'm thinking about like everybody,
the whole crew,
and everybody's, I'm sure everybody has their things here and there, but like the love that's there and the creativity and the product that comes out from there is just, it's astounding.
You guys,
it's astounding.
Think about like your dad and your 18-year-old daughter, who's Sydney, tells you, hey, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to move to LA and become an actress. And like every trope, bad thing in the world goes through your head. And like, oh my God. All right.
I remember you handled it very well. I remember saying to Aaron when that happened, I was like a few weeks, I was like, aren't you worried about like porn and this and Sky? He's like, yes, dude, shut up. He's like, I'm thinking about it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just checking. He's like, of course I am, but I gotta be cool. I was like, okay, but I get it.
My point is like to have ended up the way it did, like the first time I came down there and met all of you guys and saw the cube and like, I was like, holy shit. Like,
it's unexplainable.
I couldn't even believe, like, I couldn't have imagined it better for her. And that's because of you guys. And the people around her.
And what you're doing though. Like,
thanks for looking out for my daughter, man.
Yes. Yeah. On a personal note, aside from SEGO, thanks for looking out for our family out there. And for creating it.
Yeah. Everybody looks out for each other, and that's the great thing about it.
Yeah, it's dope.
Exactly.
Except for Alex, Doc. I love him so much. I always just got to give him shit. It was so good to see him when we were just down there and give him a big. He's happened to be over at their house, and it was so good to see him and razz him a little.
Doc.
So
Spence, you have those dates? You were talking about that.
Yeah.
I found it.
Yes.
Let's see.
So long. It's in McMinnville, which is just a few miles from Portland.
Yeah.
It's called the Walnut City Music Festival on September 2nd and 3rd. And so we'll be up in the area.
You're going to be here for 2 days.
Down.
You guys better come stay with us.
September 2nd and 3rd. All right. I'm putting it
3rd.
in.
Mark your calendars. Yeah. And so.
Are you playing both days?
No, I don't know which day we're playing.
Okay.
I should know. But we're going to make like a trip out of it. So we'll try to cruise up the Northwest and
September 2nd and 3rd, we're going to be in Denver. That's Dick's.
Oh no.
Shit.
That's Labor Day weekend.
Oh.
I was like, wait, those dates sound familiar. Can you reschedule that around us?
You guys can still use the house. You can still use the house if for real. If you guys let us know.
No, seriously.
Let us know for real. It's a big, beautiful place, and Darwin would love to see y'all.
Oh yeah, he would dig it.
I miss Darwin and Ryder and Simon.
Yeah.
For everybody out there that's listening, can you guys tell them where to go to find out more about you and all the tour dates and merch and all that stuff?
Whatever you want them to know.
I mean, you could, I feel like most people are pretty internet savvy. If you just Google SEGO, they'll find most of it. But our website is segosucks.com, SEGO. And that has all like the dates and, the applicable links available. But we're probably most active just like on our like Instagram and our Spotify. So that's kind of, I would probably push people there first.
All
right on.
Well,
so we're all pushing you.
Yeah. Go there now. Do
right
it now.
Instagram, Spotify, right now.
To our voices and don't take 6 days to do it. All right.
We love y'all.
I love you guys.
Love you guys.
No.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to see you all.
Thanks, guys.
Well, guys, way to go.
Yeah.
We can bust my balls because I'm an idiot.
Oh,
hey,
no.
You know what?
Look,
it happens.
Thank God it was family.
Yeah. Thank God.
It is.
We'll get that one out of the way.
And if you did that on purpose,
Spence,
you made me feel better,
Tom,
Mel.
Kathleen. We know your names. We're sorry.
We speak your
but
name.
But we love you nonetheless.
SEGO.
Molony.
Peach.
Aorn.
Asshole.
Wow. Yeah.
I got my own husband's name wrong on something that I made him. Yeah. So,
well, to be fair, nowadays, there's a lot of pressure to there's a lot of things going through our heads. And
so, Mel, I think it was for.
It was
for my 45th birthday, I think is what that was for, the book that you made me. She made this like beautiful book of all of my art. Like,
I went around and I got all of his like doodles and I scrapbooked everything. And then I like put some, cool like writings that he had done and just did this really cool,
I sit down to open it and on my birthday and I open up to the first page.
I'm kind of embarrassed while you're telling this story.
And the first page says, "From the beautiful mind of Aorn Schaefer." And I was like, Aorn?
Who's Aorn?
She's like, oh my God.
And I had like everything was so specific, and I had cut things out, and like I'm looking at this.
The letters were cut out and pasted.
I'm looking at this like so many times before I've even given it to him too, like, you know, gluing this here and there and like looking it over. And like, it passed multiple 15-point inspections, and I still gave him the fucking wrong name, Aorn.
That's cool. That's classic. That's great.
You didn't know
that's
that?
even more. No, I don't remember that.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
it's right over there too.
Well,
and then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fucking fix it. I'm not fixing it.
Yeah. I told her not to fix it.
No, you just go with that shit.
Yeah,
like sweet crawl.
It's just like No Simple Road. It's exactly like No Simple Road.
Yeah.
It was a mistake. So you know what? It's okay.
Mistakes work out great sometimes.
So for anybody listening that doesn't have like a background on SEGO, just go down the rabbit hole with them, man.
Yeah.
They're freaking amazing. And not
their vibe, their sound, their musicianship, their videos even. Just everything is.
If I had to like put it, like, sounds like, you know how
which that's what I do.
Apple Music will do that sometimes, like sounds like this, but
I'll give you recommendations.
Yeah, so Butthole Surfers meets Beck meets Radiohead meets Sonic Youth. Now, I think that would be a good way to have an idea of the flavor.
There's nobody out there that sounds quite the way they do, and the way that Spence does the lyrics, and the way they play. It's like I said, it scratches a lot of itches of things from the past and present, and the way they mix it together is. Their shows are very energetic.
High energy. You better come correct when you go to a SEGO show.
Yeah,
don't be coming all tired and like
you're just having a bad day. Get out of the venue.
Somebody just made me come out. Like no. You better come correct. You better study up on them lyrics because they love to hear you sing, and come freaking ready to shake your head, dude. Like freaking
jump up and down, yell, just get crazy with it.
Or could you get jiggy with it?
Oh,
Apple?
God, stop.
Could you at a SEGO show?
I mean, if that's what you're looking to get, I'm not going to get jiggy with it at a show. I'm going to be getting crazy with it.
Neon myself out of here.
Yeah,
like what I did there.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I don't get it.
Yeah, because you don't know the music.
Oh, okay.
Neon, meow.
That would have been a really good segue, but
I got it, Mel.
I get it.
That would have been a really good segue, but never mind.
It's one of their songs and their albums.
Anyway, everybody, it's hi.
Yeah.
Here we are. Simple Road.
No Simple Road is real. Like sometimes we're on our shit and sometimes we're kind of halfway on it.
Well, you know what we're going to do?
We're going to record a Monday episode.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
All right.
And
thanks everybody for listening.
Go follow them on
SEGO,
Instagram.
thanks for being on the show. We love you. Seriously, come stay with us. Even though we won't be here, come stay at the house. Take us up on it, and we love you, man. Can't wait for that release.
We will be back next week with more stuff and things. Until then, smile as stranger, safety third. Hydrate and
support your local bands.
Yeah. Peace.
Have a salad. It's spring salad.
6 days ago.
6 days ago.
But it's a burden. Felonies has been deferred, and hell means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Frates from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.